Hey guys, it's Tombox here, and I got a plane to catch, and I gotta go to YCS Niagara, but not as a player, as a judge this time. And this is gonna be like a vlog documentary about judging for YCS events, or like Yu-Gi-Oh events, like large scale ones. Not a lot of people do videos about it because there's a long policy document that a lot of people just don't really want to bother stepping the toes on. So I read the whole thing. I'm gonna read it a couple more times just to make sure that I'm not, well, crossing any lines or anything. But usually, you guys know how I work. I avoid breaking through YouTube's policy of demonetization, so I think I can handle it. So I will be shining some new light on the judging process and what it takes to be a judge. And maybe you guys can learn a thing about whether judging is right for you. You guys hear bits and stories about being a judge, like, oh, great gifts and all that stuff, but you don't see the hard work that usually goes behind it. So I want to shine some light on that. And I am like a huge fan of people that have hard work involved. So anyways, you know what, let's go. You know, I don't want to miss my flight. Now, your journey as a YCS judge or a Yu-Gi-Oh official judge begins with packing. And there's two things that you have to pack. That would be black pants and black shoes. Those are mandatory. If you don't have those, you'll never become a judge. You have to have them. They won't floor you if you don't have them. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Also, as a recommendation, don't wear Yu-Gi-Oh socks. They recommend black socks. And for the guys also, make sure that you have something to clean your face. If you have a beard, make sure it's well groomed. Or if you don't and you grow your stubble really quickly, they don't want you to have stubble, so pack one of these. One thing to note about going to judge any event is that they're going to send you a ton of documents to read. So while I wait to catch my flight, I get to read a ton of emails and about like 35 pages worth of documents. So if you don't like reading, maybe this might not be for you. Alright, just landed in Toronto, and now we got another trip to go to Niagara. But you know what, I'll answer one of the questions that a lot of people ask. Is the judge position paid, or is it a volunteer kind of thing? Well, back in the day when I just started and got my, I guess, became a part of a judge program, it was volunteer only. But over time it changed, and now it's a paid position if you are a resident or a citizen of the country that you are judging in. So it became a paid position basically. As for anyone that are coming in elsewhere to judge, because you don't have a work visa or anything like that, it becomes a volunteer position for anyone coming out of country. And speaking of prizes, I think this is as far as I can really talk about, and everything else I don't really want to go into too much detail of unless of course I get permission to. But within the documents, of course, you guys should already know that judges get gifts. If you guys seen judges walk out of events like YCS's and Nats, you see that they come with a bag, and it's usually the judge gift bag. Of course, those again are given out by Konami's discretion. Normally, if you do your job, you should be able to get one. And there's different kinds of compensations as well, but I don't really want to go into the details of that. That's something maybe one day when you participate in the judge program, the judge at the event, maybe that's something that you can find out for yourself. But yeah, and I just ordered an iced coffee. This is kind of crazy, but I'm used to it being in a little sippy cup. They literally gave me hot coffee and shoved a couple ice cubes in it. And now I have 1 hour to burn before my bus arrives to get me to Niagara. Okay, so I am a day early. Well, kind of. I guess I arrived in the morning. I can't really check in until 4 o'clock, so I guess I got some time to kill. And what else is there to do but to wait at the casino from 4 in the morning? Now, if you're planning to judge an event, but one of the biggest things you worry about would be the travel costs, I can tell you this, is that they do have a travel assist program, which does incentivize you to go travel to events, and it's very, very useful in my opinion. And they provide you with hotel, they might cover some of your costs. There's just a lot of things that they offer just to make you feel a lot more comfortable going to these new places. You know what you do with a beautiful view like this? You grab the best seat in the house and slap a casino on it so you can monetize the crap out of it. Yeah. So we've reached the end of the arrival day. I got to check out the venue. I got to, I guess, see some of you guys that you haven't seen on Facebook already, but I'm just trying to keep it down here. Yeah, so I got to meet a couple of the other judges, and the more experienced judges, they are, easing me in, kind of showing me the ropes. So they're really helpful, shout out to you guys, huge thumbs up. It really just kind of helped me settle down here. And well, I'm definitely not filming at the event tomorrow because I'll be doing my thing, and well, but I will talk afterwards when I come back to the hotel when I'm off duty about some of the things that perhaps you guys don't really see as a player, and perhaps it just needs a little bit more light shined on in terms of like, what does it really mean to be a judge? Will I actually like it? Do I want to continue judging for YCS events or large scale premier events? There's a lot of little things that I'll probably talk about, probably not going to go into any specific details, but covering the general surface of things. But yeah, hopefully it's going to be a great time, and maybe I'll do more in the future, but we'll see after tonight. So I guess we're going to cut next to the next night. Across the street.
Bro, I kinda want pasta. You want pasta?
I want anything. I ate here yesterday.
Is it good?
It was okay.
What's another good place?
Let's pick another place. So now it's Tombox TV and Sam Ham TV.
Bro, that's the plan.
This is Sam Ham. We gotta get good food. It's our food channels.
With Chris, bro. With Chris.
Are you big on saving?
Tom, I'm Chinese. So you're telling me if I'm big on saving, I'm the cheapest.
Chinese?
I am half Chinese. I'm half Chinese, half Thai.
Oh, I didn't know that. Damn.
I am cheap, and I eat instant noodles because I'm in college.
Cheap Samurai X1.
Yes, that's why I don't spend any money.
He's so cheap when he links something, so he figures out a way to get his monsters back from the graveyard.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where's parking?
Anywhere.
I'm starving.
I love sitting in Team Samurai X1's ride.
It's a Honda Civic 2010.
Yeah. You wish it was 2010. That's just 2006.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How much is parking?
It's $20 to park or $40 overnight.
$20 to park? I can't just go get food.
It's a flat rate of 20 or a flat rate of 40.
Okay.
No, I'll say
Really? Okay.
I'll leave your parking.
That goes on your dash there. And you'll have a better parking spot over there.
What?
Over there.
Thanks. This is worth it, bro. $40 for all you can eat.
Fine, we'll do it.
That one's Ruth Chris, $110 steak. Ridiculous.
Yeah, YouTube might. Don't worry, we don't make that much. We're just having a little fun here.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, there, we got some good lighting, man.
We're here gonna eat some food, fill our bellies from the long YCS. It was tiring.
Yeah?
You gotta eat well. Tips for anyone going to future YCS is: 1, get a good night's sleep. 2, practice beforehand. Don't do it right before. 3, write your deck list as soon as possible. And 4.
Use my proxies. I proxy the decks before they even come out, so you get like an extra 2 months worth of practice. All right, guys. The deck just came out, boys. Why are you not practicing? That's how Noob does it, man.
That's how you do it. You gotta proxy it up, man.
This is after day 1 YCS Niagara. Thanks for the life points. Buddy. This is what you get when you activate light cards to heal Tombox. You somehow show up in this video afterwards. Isn't that easy? Easy.
All I'm waiting for is to be the only person playing 50 card Burning Abyss. That's it.
Don't worry, make it. You can make it. You can make it. Just have to win every round.
Two rounds.
Two rounds. Just two rounds.
Tomorrow morning.
Believe.
I'm good to go.
Believe.
And that's it.
You look so confused. He's like, huh?
It's like he didn't want to serve you.
I'm having a very healthy meal now. The healthiest of them all. Lean meats. Very lean meats. I'll lose weight after I eat this. That's how keto works. Without the sauce. 50 pounds, man. 50 pounds, 4 months. Easy. That's a lot. It's not starving, man. I eat so much.
And is there a lot of working out as well?
Nope.
No working out, just
You know why? He has no sugar in his body.
Okay, so day 1 of YCS Niagara has completed, and I have now newfound respect for judges. Of course I would have newfound respect for judges. I get to see a lot of the stuff that I normally would not have seen, and let me tell you guys, being a player, when you think about, oh man, I didn't get enough sleep to go play, that's nothing compared to a judge. A judge has to get there before you get there. Some of them, they just land off of a plane and then they're jet lagged. I'm jet lagged. I have to go to the meeting, and that's much earlier than you guys. So I see a judge and perhaps they're tired, perhaps they don't give you the correct ruling or whatever you guys talk about. It is tougher for the judges for sure. So that's one thing. And speaking of like the physicality of it, depending on where you're stationed, there's different teams. Some are less physical than others. But being a floor judge, that's what I was. Make sure you have a nice pair of shoes because you're gonna be walking around a lot. And when you're walking around a lot, your feet's gonna hurt, especially if you have bad insoles. Luckily, good call on myself. I got great insoles. I took it out of my other shoes and put it in my current one, and my feet's just not feeling it. So it's pretty good. It's gonna be rested and ready to go for the next day. And you're gonna be walking around like you're gonna burn like so many calories just being a judge. But if that kind of physical activity might not be for you, you could, I don't know how they assign judges, but you could be part of a different team. And judges, they have to do so much organization, lots of planning, lots of things to go through. But aside from the physical activity, mistakes. I've made mistakes, guys. Oh my god, this is the end of the world. No, it's going to happen. Judges are going to make mistakes. I'm not just talking about ruling mistakes, although I did make a ruling mistake. Now that I think about it, I thought about it for a very long time. Apparently, I look like I had a stick up my butt because I was constantly thinking about that mistake that I made. Yeah, I will talk about it and I will apologize to those players, I suppose. My bad. But people make mistakes, and one of the biggest mistakes that I made, I'm going to talk about this one. I'm not going to go into the event details per se, but one of the mistakes I made was having bad communication with one of the players. Now, in terms of like ruling stuff, most of it was pretty spot on. Like, I understand the situation. Remember, you can't be like coaching them because they have to make the play before you can actually give them a ruling, or else they'll change the way that they play. They have to attempt to do something and acknowledge the fact that they're in the middle of disputing a specific rule before you can give them a ruling. Yeah, that was no problem. That was the easy part. I was really used to that by then, by like just doing like the MOS stuff and just knowing how the Seattle judges work out anyways, just based on what I did. But on the other hand, having bad communication with one of the players, that led to complications because it became like a he said, she said kind of moment, and that just really sucked because that's the hardest thing to deal with because no one knows what's going on. It could be anybody's game, and you have to choose the most credible kind of story to kind of resolve the situation, and that's really difficult because
who knows what's going on. So I had poor communication with one of the players, which led to some craziness, and sometimes that is what it is. But luckily, the team of judges managed to kind of solve that. So props to you guys. You guys kind of talked to me about it afterwards. I can't go into any details. I won't go into any details because I'm just not allowed to, apparently. Now, as for the other thing, a reminder to myself: remember to initial stuff. Initialing stuff is a very important thing that I need to get better at, because I'm just not really used to just initialing everything that I write. But as a judge, we initial stuff because we want to be held accountable, and we want to make it so that whatever that we wrote down is credible, so that they don't have to have, again, one of those he said she said moment where, well, I didn't agree to this, or maybe, oh, I didn't actually write this. It happened during the early deck checks when I was looking at the form and I didn't make the consumer initial the top part. That's actually very important, because they could potentially say that wasn't their deck list. They didn't sign it yet. So that happened a couple of times on me. And so even during the match slips and stuff, you have to initial everything, because it confirms that a judge has looked into this, and if there's a mistake, it can go back to the judge that can resolve the situation, because you got like hundreds and hundreds of these things coming in. How do you actually get things done, and how do you actually keep things organized? So the initialing will kind of sort it out and kind of find the person that is most related to the situation. So the initialing thing, oh my god, it sounds so boring to you guys probably, but being held accountable, being professional, and held responsible for things that you do, that's a lot of part of the judging. It's much like having a real job. And one last thing, I guess, is being adaptable. Rounds might not go as smoothly as you may think. There are like areas of error that's completely out of your control. It could be a technical error, a technical issue. These things, they happen. And part of being a judge is, well, being really adaptable. Adapting because you guys are problem solvers. The key ultimate goal for, I guess, everyone that's on staff and all the players is to have a very fun and successful event. Leading to the success of the event is the #1 priority, I would say. And that's always the underlying goal. It's not about dishing out penalties. Fairness and everything contributes to the ultimate goal. So yeah, so anyways, that's it for day 1. I'll talk about my personal thoughts about judging after day 2. But stay tuned for that, I suppose. If this stuff still sounds interesting to you, maybe you should try and apply. But just because you're really, really good at rulings doesn't necessarily mean you're a really good fit to be a judge. I'll explain that, because being both YouTuber, a person that works a job, a person that just has so much going on, I kind of want to give you guys my experience, my take on this. So wait till next day. Well, I guess that's gonna be in like a couple seconds for you guys. Alright guys, I'm at the airport now. I finished day 2 of YCS Niagara as a judge, and let me tell you, I was given a wider range of experience thanks to, well, they assigned me to public events in day 2. They don't need me on floor judging because, well, it's just, I'm a new judge, they want to expand my experience, and on top of that, there was also no need for that many judges anyway, because, remember, day 2, they cut off a lot of the players, and that's exactly what it is. It's they don't need that many judges there. The judges are assigned an area, and they already have the judges ready. So instead of public events, people are just taking on public events on and on, so they can play in the playoffs to get the super rare version of the prize card, which is also really cool. I also judged in that as well. And in public events, let me tell you, it was insane. The amount of just the sheer amount of work that you have to do, and the time management is much more intense. Usually in the regular main event, there's only one timer that you have to really care about, and then the rest of it takes care of itself. Answer the judge, handle your area, try to help your fellow judges on calls. This one is a bit more intense. You're still handling a small area, except that there's multiple events going on, you need multiple timers going on. At one point, I had 7 events going on at the exact same time with like 3 16-pod regionals. Of course, they're not full 16 pods, or else they wouldn't fit in the area. It's just because it is single elimination, they just get swiped off, and then as spaces open up, more and more events come in. I had 3 regionals, 3 Winnamats, and a Battle City event happening in the exact same area. I felt kind of bad when I passed it off to someone because I had to go on break, and then we had to explain where everything was, and
you gotta constantly clear people off of that area, and people constantly ask you questions like, oh, when is this event starting? Well, when you're stationed to that area, you really just don't know the answer to those questions, so you guys just gotta redirect people. And that was most intense. You're just pacing constantly back and forth, trying to answer rulings and trying to make sure that you're not taking too long on answering the rulings, because you gotta make sure that those guys are playing on time, and it's just like even they said that handling 7 at one point was just pretty insane. Usually you had to handle about 4 or 5, which is, that's the usual load, and that was much more manageable. But handling 8, that was like insane, because I was calling time constantly, like table to table to table. It was like, I gotta answer a ruling here, gotta do this here, gotta do that here, and if anyone plays like a funky card that you have to read, it really slows the whole thing down, and the system just doesn't work out that way. But overall, it was a really cool thing, and I also got to sit in on the playoffs, and that was pretty cool, where you sit in judge and match, making sure that every move is played properly and, you know, to the rules, and know the policy. Overall, I can say that my confidence in ruling card rulings was really pretty good, although I did make one mistake, and I'll admit to it, and I'll do that in a different video. But the other thing is policy ruling issuing. I learned that you can sometimes go lenient, sometimes you can go more strict, but in most cases, depending on the player attitude and based on your own judgment, you have to make the correct call and be like, take the stand. Like, don't worry about getting appealed. If you're going to get appealed, you're going to get appealed. Some players are just going to appeal regardless, but make sure you give them a ruling first. Just sound confident when you give it to them. And that's all really there is to it. But yeah, I'm doing this whole thing. I can give you guys my review. Let me give you my final opinion, guys. It's just gonna be 2 things: whether or not you should be a judge, and the second thing is whether or not you should be a judge as a YouTuber. The YouTuber one is quite simple. The answer is maybe. If you're more of a content creator, you want to do more coverage, or whatever that you can cover, being a judge will not allow you to do so, because you just won't have the time on duty. When you are wearing this shirt, you can't do it, because you're on the clock. Basically, it's just not possible. You're gonna have to watch other people do it. I watched Team Sam do his profiles. I was like, yeah, was I a bit jealous? Sure, definitely was a bit jealous, but not much can be said, not much can be done. You're on the clock, so it is what it is. But if you're trying to do good to the event, and that's, you don't mind doing so, and you want to get the experience to lead your community, so that you can have a team of judges. And speaking of team of judges, I think that anyone who believes that they are qualified to be a judge, they're humble enough, and they're able to fit in the customer service role of the judge position, why not be a judge? Like, aside from the judge incentive, like, yeah, you get the judge gift bag, and like, that's really cool and all, and that's of course at their discretion. So if you do a bad job, I'm not sure if they're gonna even give you one, especially if it costs more trouble than good. But you should have a passion for creating fairness and ensuring fairness for the game when it comes to that. Yeah, sorry, I'm just really just waiting for an announcement to kind of cut me off again. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. Should you be a judge? The more judges in your area, the better, because you're more likely to get the staffing to host larger events, and that is something that's very crucial, because a lot of these events, like this is like a 750-man regional, and we had like 32 judges on staff. Imagine like any large-scale event, like how many people do you need to actually host these events? And basically, each judge is in charge of about 64 players to 128 players at a time. It's pretty insane. Yeah, well, that's all I really have to say about that. But huge shout out to all the veteran team judges, humble judges, proud judges, all of you guys. Really showed me around. You guys really made the onboarding process of me as a newbie coming on. Loved it. Answered questions, and never treated it as if I like should have known something. And even in the review, ruling stuff, policy stuff, a little bit more iffy, need a bit more confidence. So that's just my personal take at it. I'll definitely do better. Read the policy document so that you can issue a firm ruling every time. Don't worry about getting appealed. If they get appealed, it is part of a player's rights. And that's it. I'm gonna go now. One last tip for people that are becoming or considering becoming judges is that if you're going to be going to an event with new cards, make sure you try to read up on all those new cards before you give out rulings, and try to have a little bit of a discussion with your fellow judges so that you have a bit of consistency going on, or else it's going to be a little inconsistent throughout the event, which some players will not appreciate that for sure. So read up on your rulings. If you do set analysis like me, I read over like most of the cards at least once anyway, and even I would still struggle. So make sure that you give cards a thorough read. Well, that's all I got for this video, and I guess now I'm gonna proceed to the end phase. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you next time.